Decluttering a whole house is so overwhelming, and I've been doing this for 12 months now. Well, over 12 months. Would have been quicker if I'd have moved sooner. But whether you're downsizing or you're doing like me, selling everything that you own to go travelling, getting rid of all your belongings is very overwhelming. And today I'm going to talk about it and maybe give you some tips on how to get through it and to make it more manageable. So I'll put some pictures up here of what my house was like a year ago, well, just over a year ago. And as you can see, I'm not a minimalist, I'm a maximalist. I love colour, I love everything around me, I love pictures everywhere, photos everywhere, I have ornaments everywhere, I have stuff everywhere. And I have to get this down to one holder hole. Yeah, this is a big task. Now, the reason I'm starting this is because I want to go travelling. It's my retirement plan. And I can't really afford to do that if I keep my house. So I've made the decision to sell my house and all my belongings and go. And so I have to get rid of all this stuff. And I'm just going to travel with one small suitcase that can go as hand luggage and a little rucksack that has my cameras in it. And that's it. That's all I will own in the world. But how do you do it? When you have all this stuff around you, how on earth do you start? So, this is how I felt at the beginning, and I was like, I really don't know where to start. But the thing is, you just have to start. And so I set myself a task that every day I had to go in one room and I had to either fill a bin bag or fill a box for charity or to sell. And every day, even if I was busy, I was so strict about it, said like, pick up one of them, pick up the bag or the box, and don't sit down, watch TV or do anything like that until you've done one box or one bag, and just get going. And then I decided I'd have a garage sale, because if you go to car boot sales, which are great, I'm not knocking them, you've got to get everything in the car, you've got to do it. So I thought, you know what, I'll do a garage sale. I'll just put everything out in my garage, and that can fit in there, and I'll make a start this way. And so I set a date. I gave myself 4 weeks for this garage sale. And because I gave myself that time, I had to clear the garage. And the garage was full to the top with rubbish. And everything I didn't want in the house was in the garage. It was just full. So I had to, first off, sort the garage out. And so I went through it. If there were big things, I started listing them on Facebook Marketplace. I got rid of a lot of big things that way. And then start tidying up the garage. And then anything that I wanted to sell, I left in the garage, and I started sort of putting them in some kind of order. And then once that was done, I would go around the house and pick things that I wasn't going to keep and then move them into the garage for sale. And so by the time the garage sale came, I had quite a display of things, and it all spread out onto the driveway and a bit of next door's driveway. It was everywhere. And I was lucky because a lot of people came, and I actually sold lots of things. I sold lots of my lamps, lots of my pictures, lots of my ornaments, some of my indoor flower pots. I really did get rid of quite a lot. And it was a really good start. So from there, I then a couple of weeks later took a few more things and went and did a tabletop sale. And there I got rid of loads of kitchenware and lots of other smaller ornaments I had, mirrors, lots of things like that. And it created a lot more space. And it was then getting easier to sort of start to see things slowly going from the house. And then I would set myself a task of, okay, I've kind of done a lot of the surfaces and put, sold them on. Now it's time to start looking at the bigger stuff like the cabinets and some of the bigger pieces of furniture. And so I would set myself a task that I would empty a cupboard each week. And then I would empty it and then list the cupboard on Facebook Marketplace. And the things as I'm, clearing the cupboard, they go in the charity box, the for sale box, or the rubbish bag. And it's amazing that if you just do a little bit at a time, how much you can get done. And I emptied my house quite easily. And then of course I had my clothes and all my boots. Now a lot of people are into handbags. I've always been into boots. And I had hundreds of pairs of boots. And most of them high heels, and I don't wear high heels anymore. My knees just, no. I wear trainers and flip-flops. Fix-up flip-flops for my knees, but that's all I really wear, and a pair of hiking boots, which I keep, and that's it. That's all I have. So I started listing them. Now, when I went through my wardrobe, I had clothes that I must have had for over 20 years, and I know this because of what size they were. No way have I been a size 8 and 10 for many, many years. I mean, why have I kept all these clothes? There's always this thing, isn't it? Oh, one day I'll get back into them. Well, after all these decades, that wasn't happening. And so I started, so first off, my aunt wanted a lot of size 14. So all the size 14s I wasn't wearing. A lot of them I've never worn. I boxed up and she had. And then other things, I listed them on Vinted and eBay, and I'm surprised how much I've sold. And from my clothes alone, I made over £1,000, and I know that over the years I've spent a lot more than that on clothes and boots, but that's £1,000 I can put in my travel pot. So I was happy with that. And you just have to keep going. It does take a long time to list things on Vinted and eBay, but it's worth it in the end if you can just make a few more pence. And then, things that you don't want to sell, just give them to charity. Now, my friend works with Bernardo's. He's quite high up in Bernardo's. And so he actually put a collection box in the gym that I own. And I'm always filling it. And now I just hand him the boxes. But it does make life easier. And before that, I was giving to other charities as well. And bit by bit, it gets done. And what I'm left with now is, and I'll show you the pictures of what I'm left with now, is quite a clear house. I've just got the conservatory furniture, a sofa and chair, a dining table, and a couple of cabinets, a bed, and a blow-up bed. And all my ornaments have gone. Now, originally, I wanted to keep some of my ornaments, and I had boxed them up. I had about 20 boxes of things I wanted to keep and store somewhere. But I didn't want to pay for storage because the things I want to keep are not valuable as such. And the storage fees would have been so high that I'm like, it's not worth it. And no one I know has a lot of storage space. So my son has an attic, and he said I could put 3 cases up there. So I had to empty all the boxes and be very, very strict about what I might want to store. And I took all the pictures out of their frames, rolled them up tightly, squeezed them in, emptied my photos out of all the frames and put them in a box, and managed to get everything into 3 suitcases, which are now in his attic. And so if I ever buy again, I can have some of my things back. But other than that, I have nothing left. And except for what's here now, but that will all be gone. This is what I've reduced it down to. 3 cases, 2 bags, and my Mexican hat on the top. And that is going in his attic, and everything else is going. So it's doable, but it does take a lot of time. Now, if my house sale had gone through last year, I know I could have done it, and I could have got it done quicker. Now, because it kept falling through, I kind of like stopped doing it for a bit and then got back into it again, or did it a lot slower. But I could have done it in 4 months if I'd have kept up the pace I was at the beginning. And, oh, excuse me. Yeah, so I'm very happy with it. So it is overwhelming. It's a big job. But it's doable if you do it in small, manageable bits. Do a garage sale, because honestly, that was the best decision I made, because it was so much easier than going out to car boot sales and having to pack the car up and stuff. People came to me, and I advertised it through Facebook. I just set up an event and shared it across all the local pages and groups, and a lot of people came. And I guess I do own a business here, so a lot of people came to support me then, even if they only brought something they didn't really want, but it didn't matter because they still brought something. So it was really worthwhile doing and really easy. So I really recommend that for the first one. And then the clothes are the biggest one for me. Is just start getting them loaded, even if you load 3 things a day, and then get that box and that bag and clear 1 thing a day. And it will soon happen. But don't forget the big furniture. Get rid of that. Start getting rid of that on Facebook. It's easy. People just come and get it. You can list it on eBay as well, but people just come and pick it up, and it just makes life so much easier. Yeah. So it's been hard, but doable. Are you decluttering? Are you downsizing, moving away? Need to get rid of all your stuff. How are you finding it? I tell you what as well is, when I started this, I really didn't think I was going to be happy with none of my stuff around, because I was so attached to all my little trinkets, and they all had memories, and I loved having my photos up. But now I haven't had all that stuff around me for a while. I can't tell you how freeing it is, and how a maximalist like me can change their mindset. And if I owned a home again, I probably would fill it up again with all my stuff. But I feel free. I feel like I'm not tied to stuff anymore, and it's not controlling me anymore. So it's worth doing. Yeah. And sometimes you just have to do these things if what you're working towards is a bigger goal. Freedom. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.